Stuff's also really messy, so I highly recommend getting a rag instead of using your shirt like I did.
We are Shelby and Woody. We met in 2015 and immediately discovered our shared passion for travel and adventure. We've cruised the Bahamas, rode a train through Alaska, and even got engaged in Hawaii. After stumbling upon a van life video on YouTube, we loved the idea but considered it a pipe dream. 4x4 Sprinter van, and unfortunately it's sold. Well, as you can see, with a lot of hard work and perseverance, that pipe dream is becoming a reality.
What came today?
Please consider subscribing so you can follow along on our journey while we build out a van, travel the world, and Encompass Adventure. Hi guys, this video is just going to be a quick overview of how we did the plumbing for the wet bath in our van.
Alright, so just wanted to show you some of the tools that I used, aside from most of the standard stuff. Wrenches, drill. I did use some of these Craig pocket hole screws for other places than just the pocket holes because I like the head on it. It makes a nice seated connection. Drill, of course. So talk about these. These are PEX connections, and this is a PEX crimp. There's a difference between crimp and clamp, so make sure that if you're using the crimp, you get the correct crimp tool. It also has a go, no-go gauge on it. This is a cutter that I used for cutting the PEX and the vinyl tubing. Of course, this pipe thread sealant, which was very necessary for some of those brass connections especially, and safety glasses. This is worth noting, there is a difference between the PEX and the barb. PEX is specifically for PEX tubing, and for this barb connection, or this vinyl tube connection, it is a different type of barb right here, and then you just use this type of clamp that you just screw down and it tightens really nice. So we've attached this vinyl braided tubing to the shower mixer. This is the hose that goes up to the shower head. The reason that I had to go with this instead of PEX is right here, this tube needs to be a little flexible so that once this is mounted in here, like so, it can run up like this. And then because the shower head connection, which is a bracket like this, they don't have a fitting that's for that braided hose. You can see the difference. That's braided hose fitting.
It's called a barbed fitting.
And that's a PEX fitting. So I'm gonna have to convert from this braided hose to PEX for a short distance. This is a 1/2-inch pipe to 1/2-inch PEX male adapter. And then I have a 1/2-inch pipe to braided hose female adapter. I'll obviously put some plumber's putty and or whatever it's called down there on that connection and tighten this. The braided hose here will connect in there, and then the PEX will run from this connection to the shower head connection. And I'll of course show you that when it's all done. All right, so for the PEX fitting, I have this crimper tool, which is different than the clamp tool. There are two ways to do PEX. We went with the crimp, and then a 1/2-inch crimp ring. So you put the bracket inside the PEX pipe, you put the crimp ring over top of where the barbs are at, and then you take this crimp tool, which is a little awkward to use on your own. There, and crimp it down. And then I do a 1/2 turn or a 1/4 turn. And crimp it down. Oops, sorry, baby. There. And you can see, nice strong connection. It's going nowhere. So this is what I was talking about. We need it to be very flexible right here, so that it can bend in through here. Oops, at the shower mixer. And it comes up here, and then I've done the connection from braided to PEX. And then it'll go up, we'll mount this here, and that's where our shower head will come out.
And in case you guys are wanting to see the other side of this, pokes out the back right here, but we're planning on having a box or a shelf that goes all the way down the side of the bed, so this will be hidden in that. It's because we used a 1/2 inch plywood and 3/4 inch
1x4 basically.
Yeah, 1x4 beams. A lot of people do 2x4s, and we just didn't want to do it that thick to accommodate for the mixer, so we found a workaround.
So now I'm putting on this pipe thread sealant again, and these are little elbow connectors, so the PEX will connect to the bottom of this, and this little plastic piece will screw in here. So I've got that pretty well covered, and then I'm gonna get this to screw on. And these plastic pieces are nice. They've got this little rubber gasket inside that makes it really nice, like a really good seal. So I'm not super worried about any leaks, but I am putting, again, that thread sealant on just to be safe.
And these are for the hot and cold water. This is the back of the mixer.
Yeah, this is the water going in. One down, one to go. Stuff's also really messy, so I highly recommend getting a rag instead of using your shirt like I did.
We figured we'd want to test the shower plumbing before we put the walls up over it, because once the walls are up and there are leaks, we won't know, and that can cause some serious issues such as mold.
So what I did is I got a garden hose to PEX conversion. Took 2 parts, a couple bucks a piece at Lowe's, not a big deal. Basically it's a garden hose to 1/2 inch pipe and on the male, and then 1/2 inch pipe to PEX converter. Made sure to put the Teflon tape, or whatever it's called, the plumber's tape, at that connection. There's water coming through to here already, and so far no leaks at these connections, which is good. And now I'm going to turn the water on as if we were to shower. And
So are you checking for a leak right here, I'm assuming?
yeah. Not much water coming through. Why?
Are you checking for leaks anywhere else?
This connection, and this connection, and then we'll have to test this one as well.
So we hooked the shower head up to it, turned the water on full blast, and everything is working perfectly. There were no leaks on this side. Now he's gonna check what would be the hot water. He's gonna check the other side, see if there are any leaks on these connections, because this is what will be in the shower. And then once we test that, we have to wait for it to dry so we can put it inside the shower wall.
Yesterday we tested out all the connections in the PEX tubing and in the mixer, the shower mixer. Everything looks good. So today I'm going to focus on getting that installed. And first I had to build this backing. So our wall is a thin wall, and the mixer needs to mount to at the back to something really stable. It's already mounted with the plastic piece that I can show you in a second to the 1x4 that we use for the framing, but needs something a little more stable. As you can see here, we've got some screws there. It's a little tough to see in the dark, but that's mounted there. This piece is going to sit right here, and then we will be able to screw in from this direction to get it to attach there. And I've done some pocket holes down here so that we can mount that down. Now, you might be thinking, why the heck is that in their bed? But this part's not actually going to be bed, it's going to be a storage compartment. We're going to seal off all the water away from the electrical, and then we'll have a switch right here and then the rest of that will be storage. And then we'll have what is basically a queen size bed to sleep on. So it's starting to come along. One quick thing I wanted to add. Obviously this is probably a temporary fix until we have the cabinet all built here, but I wanted it to have some support at the top so that pulling on that shower handle wouldn't pull forward and pop out that mixer. And then to prevent any noise or rubbing as we drive, I put this little piece of felt that we had left over from our headliner shelf, which is full and messy right now. So that'll be temporary. Once we build that cabinet out, I'll just take these 2 screws off, and then this piece will just pull right out, and then the top of that cabinet will attach here to give it that same support. All right, I've got that all screwed in. Just did 4 pocket holes. Again, I've got that support piece at the front. It's really strong and stable. So now I'm going to attach it from the front. All right, so I've got this mounted now. I had to cut out a little piece of tin. It's actually part of the van that we cut out for our window, and painted it so that it was not going to rust or anything like that. But the 1/2 inch board that we used, I wanted to make sure I could get a long enough screw in there that it would still hold and be really strong connection. As you can see, it is really stable and strong, even with just those 3 screws. So I put that as a backer board. I did put some glue behind it as well, so that it's now glued and secure there. And then those little locking washers that are on there help as well, so it's not just spinning freely. And it's got a really solid connection, so really happy with it. All right, so that pretty much does it for the plumbing. You can see the mixer's there. It's nice and secure. I ended up going with a 1/2 inch brass pipe convert to a barbed connection for this vinyl tubing. It's flexible. As you can see, I needed to kind of make a pretty sharp turn right there, and the PEX was just a little bit too stiff for that. So then it comes up, and I did a 1/2 inch barbed vinyl tubing to 1/2 inch PEX connection here, and then going up and did a 1/2 inch PEX to shower elbow. And you can see this is where the shower head arm will connect right there. And then the mixer, it's pretty straightforward. You just have to make sure that everything is lined up. That goes on like that, and then this tightens down to make that seal. Just do that hand tight, and then we've got our cover piece that will go over that. Once the wall's on, of course, then we'll sit pretty flush with the wall. And then the handle hooks on like that. It turns on and off. Pretty straightforward. I do recommend reading all of the directions on these mixers because some of them are very, very unique. Do a lot of research on these connections as well. Make sure that you're comfortable with where they need to be, or sorry, what kind of connections you need to use for each conversion. And then you can see back here, again, the hot and water come in there and go out to where our water tank will be underneath.
Hopefully it was helpful for you guys to see how we plumbed our shower, and keep in mind, we will be doing a full plumbing video for you in the future.
And if it was helpful, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye. I have, it's a slippery one.